As I mentioned on my presentation, it's a steady industry. It has been sustained even in the most difficult times. If you remember during the financial economic crisis in 2008, 2009, 2010, one thing is that the international association meetings industry, they need to meet, regardless of how the economy is, because that's the way that they basically that's the way that they gain revenue, to be able to justify the operations of the International Association for the years to come, which means basically many of them are not-for-profits, so that's their only source of revenue. Latin America and Mexico are doing a fantastic job. If you saw the ICA rankings, Mexico has jumped many spots, in the past years. And as I mentioned earlier, there's many leaders that are making that happen, in different ways. Same thing in Latin America. Now you have the creation of the Latin American Convention and Visitors Bureau that is led by Miguel Arraca, which is also helping the rest of Latin America come together and be able to basically work in the same direction. In Mexico, you have many top-of-mind destinations within the International Association meetings industry. Cancun being one of them. Cancun has done a fantastic job. I talk about this during the presentation as well. Others are like Mexico City, which are always in the top rankings within ICA. You have Guadalajara as well, doing a fantastic job, Monterrey, and many other emerging cities, that are right now playing a more important role within the industry as well. So overall, I think it's in very good shape, and we can certainly, there's always room for improvement, of course, but the trend, I would say, is really good. I would say another good example is the World Meetings Forum. We're all here because we believe in this market, we understand that there's business opportunities, and we all want to take advantage of it, capitalize from it, and be able to network and try to help each other, do better. Fantastic forum, since Rafa took leadership on this, this is the third edition. When they started, of course, there were a few questions about how it was going to turn out. But then I believe one of the key things was the fact that he was able to bring the leaders of the industry, to the forum for the first year. And that created a lot of credibility, of course, and that enticed other, delegates to attend as well. You have the leaders from MPI the first year, SITE, PCMA, ICA, and so on, which basically gives the opportunity for everybody to understand where the global industry is heading and be able to interact directly with decision makers from the US, which is really difficult to find, at the same time in the same room. So I think that is really positive. Also, the fact that they are here in Mexico implies that everybody believes in Mexico, and they understand that it's very important, to be here. If you think about it, many of them, they started to create their own chapters. PCMA has its chapter. You have MPI, Mexico chapter as well. UFI as well. They are looking into Mexico and Latin America as a potential market for growth, to be able to recruit more members, to be able to also share their education. Like PCMA, one of the main mandates, as we heard today from Deborah Sexton, was that they want to be able to export their educational program, to other regions of the world. So I think that's a great opportunity for everyone.